Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy RJ Elite. You already know what it is. Soul Rider X is back in the building.
Thanks
Now,
for having me, man.
yeah. Um, so we told you guys we were gonna bring you back with our end of the year candidates and give you our results on what we think, and then also we're gonna run a little bit of the Wrestle Kingdom 12 that just happened last night. If you were up to watch it, congrats to
Which,
you.
yeah, congratulations, because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning in the U.S., 8 a.m. in like UK, and then like I think noon at like Japan. So like if you stayed up till 3 a.m. to watch a 5 hour pay-per-view, congratulations.
Yeah, I was one of the people. I tried to stay up. I got through four, maybe five matches, and I just crashed
No,
after that.
I wasn't. I passed out at like 1:30 because I was tired, and I'm like, there's no way. I'll just watch the highlights online tomorrow.
Right.
You know. Because ain't no sane person gonna watch a 5 hour pay per view at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Exactly. Um.
Bad
So
enough WWE wants us to sometimes sit through a 4 hour pay per view. Ain't nobody got time for a 5 hour pay per view.
right, six altogether if you watch the whole pre-show.
Oh God, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. So, what do you want to run down first?
Let's run down, I guess, the year end candidates because we haven't fully seen all of Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Right.
you know, so it's not like we can give a full review of Wrestle Kingdom 12, but we can kind of give down as I grab the list of I guess who are superstars match and then oh my god moments of the year were.
Let me pull that up myself because I think I done forgot the list too.
Pay no attention to the men behind the curtain.
Okay.
I mean, just quickly, okay. Omega. Oh yeah. So wrestlers of the year were Styles, Okada, Omega, Strowman, and The Miz. Match of the year was Okada versus Omega 1, Okada versus Omega 2, Bates versus Pete Dunne at Takeover Chicago, Styles versus Cena at the Rumble, Usos versus the New Day at Hell in the Cell, and also the Pain versus DIY at Takeover Chicago. And then OMG moments were Strowman flips the ambulance, Sammy turning heel, Jinder shocking the world, and Ciampa attacks Gargano. So,
I can't even
which
find my
one do you
list.
want
What
to tackle first?
Uh, let's go with OMG moment of the year.
Yeah, just get that out of the way. Because I feel like with match of the year and wrestler of the year, we can at least kind of talk about why, you know,
Yeah.
we think these will work. So, what would you go for your OMG moment of the year?
So my most shocking, I mean, because like, despite the backstory on it and why they did it, it had to be for me Jinder Mahal winning the WWE
Yeah,
Championship.
it's not a good OMG, but it is an OMG.
Just a pure shock of people's face. You only get to do that a couple of times. Like
Yeah,
the first time was
there's.
the streak ending and seeing the shock of everybody's face in the crowd.
I
Um,
still love that one shot of the black guy
yeah.
in front row. He looked like he just saw a ghost.
um, but this one, it it really caught me by surprise. Like if you didn't read all the dirt sheets and stuff like that, and of course it's
No,
a different story, but I didn't think they
no,
were going to actually go through with it.
even, no. Here's the thing: even like you and me, who do read all the dirt sheets, no one saw Jinder winning because everyone was like, "There, what?" Like if you
Exactly.
had told somebody last year, "Oh yeah, by the way, Jinder Mahal is going to be champion," they would have laughed at you.
Exactly. But it really goes to show you. Because honestly, it was like a buildup of different things to me as far as 3MB went. because you had Heath Slater. He finally got a title, won the tag team titles with Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had, I think, Jinder came first, and then Drew
Jinder came
McIntyre.
first. McIntyre won, went down to NXT, and became champion there. And then Slater, after the crowd getting behind him, they teamed him with Rhino, and he won the tag team titles.
Hmm. And we talked about this a little bit previously in the year in review, that there should have been a better build up for Jinder. That's why it wasn't taken as seriously. Like they should have put a mid card title on him.
Here's the thing. I I agree with that, and you still could have done Jinder winning had the build after been good. The build after was terrible.
Yeah,
You
because like you
know,
said, that he won the exact same way every
every three
championship match
times
that he
with the
had.
Singh brothers.
Yeah,
You know, his whole build up with Nakamura was just terrible.
yes, it was
You know,
disrespectful too.
oh god, yes. Like y'all went too damn far. You know,
Yeah, I don't know. It's
um,
WWE.
and now they've pretty much just buried him back to what they should have done, back down to mid card. Which
Exactly.
I don't know if he's going to win the U.S. Open title championship tournament. You know,
Honestly, I don't. Seeing that he just got out of a title picture, I don't think they're gonna put it right back on him immediately. But
no,
in a couple months, expect him to
maybe.
probably be in the title picture again.
Yeah. Who do you think they're going to give the title to?
Um, I don't know. I really haven't been keeping up with SmackDown too much. I didn't even see the highlights for Tuesday about what happened.
Because the one I think they might put it on is Bobby Roode.
Possibly.
Because I don't think they're going to re-put it back on Corbin.
No, I don't see that happening because if they
You
would
know,
do that, then what would have been the purpose for you taking it off of him
yeah.
in the first place?
They're not going to put it on because Xavier Woods also qualified. I don't see them putting it on Xavier Woods.
No.
You know, so honestly, because Woods and Jinder qualified, so the only logical person out of those four so far are Bobby Roode.
Hmm.
You know, and then that would be a good chance to turn him heel because there's too many baby faces in the mid card.
Yeah, it is.
You
I can agree
know,
with that.
so if you give Roots a championship, that would be great to turn him heel.
It's honestly too many baby faces on SmackDown. Period. Honestly.
Oh God, yes.
But anyway, moving on.
Moving on to, do you want to do matches or wrestlers of the year next?
Uh, let's do Wrestler of the Year because I think that's a given.
Okay. Well, hmm. I don't know. Definitely, it's safe to say that it's definitely not Braun or Miz.
Mm.
Okay. And the problem with it not being Braun is, and I was thinking about this earlier, they spent half the year building him up to be a credible monster and trying to win him over, and then the other half, they built half the year building him up as a monster, and then the other half the year building him over to be babyface. So yeah, Braun will probably have a great year in 2018, but took not this year.
Yeah. Um, they spent a lot of time, and they actually had a nice feud. If we did feud of the year, that'd definitely be a candidate. But the Roman and Braun feud really got him over with the crowd and just got him over to be a main event status player.
Yeah, it. Th- that's the one good thing I can say about Roman this year is they stuck him in enough good feuds to where, and they're slowly but surely building him to where the crowd's accepting him. That when he does beat Lesnar, because yes, he's beating Lesnar, I will continue to say it because it's going to happen. It doesn't seem it's going to seem not like as shitty, and people aren't going to, I think, hate it as much because they've slowly started building him to where the crowd is cheering for him. They're still booing him, but there are cheers.
Yeah.
You know,
Um. Hmm.
I don't. For me, it's a tie between either Okada and Styles. And the reason I won't say Omega is because Omega had probably the feud of the year. Um, but he had really good matches. But besides his one or few matches, his kind of like the kind of stuff he would do with the Young Bucks, like really wasn't like that higher quality, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like his feud with Okada was great. Okay, no one's gonna doubt that. But his other matches really weren't on the same level as when it was him versus Okada because everybody kept. The problem is that every time Kenny Omega kept having a fight this year, everyone kept comparing that match to Okada, which you couldn't. Okay, which is why they eventually, okay, so we'll just have the freaking rematch.
Right.
Because I think the next pay per view he did was he fought Nitro, and everybody was still talking about him versus Okada. Like
Yep.
that was the double-edged sword of Omega's year this year. He had really good matches. It's just he kept being undershadowed by his matchup with Okada.
I can agree with you on that, but mine still has got to be Omega, just based on the fact that I mean it all depends on what type of scale you're going to measure this on. I'm
Yeah,
I'm trying to measure it based off of popularity because there was no bigger wrestler in the wrestling world than Kenny Omega this year.
Omega. No, I can agree with you 100% on that. I agree with you 100% on that. Um, my wrestler of the year, I think I'd have to give it to Styles
Okay.
because Styles did this year. Okay, I consider Styles to be one of the greatest of all time, and the reason I consider Styles to be one of the greatest of all time is not only does he make himself look good by putting on great matches, but he also makes anybody you pit him against look really well. Like, say what you want about the Jinder Mahal feud. Yeah, it was bad, but he at least tried to make Jinder look good.
All right.
Okay? He made Brock look good. His match with Cena was he made Cena look good. You know? And to me, that's a standard that I hold higher when I consider some of my greatest of all times. Is yes, they put on amazing matches, but they can also make their opponent as well as themselves look good without it detracting from themselves.
Gotcha. That's a good point.
And Styles is one of the very few people who can do that.
Well, according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, we both had it wrong because they had Okada as Wrestler of the Year.
I mean, I can see that.
The man
The
only
dude,
lost 2 matches.
he only lost 2 matches, and every match he put on was over a 30-minute match.
Exactly. Well, match of the year.
This is tough because these are all really great matches.
It is a really tough one, but
But I think it's gonna either have to be it's gonna be Okada versus Omega. Now the deciding factor is it Okada versus Omega 1 or Okada versus Omega 2?
I know we differed
That's
on
where
this one.
people are
Yeah,
that yeah, that's where people are going to differ.
because I had
Is
one,
it
you had two.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be Okada versus Omega, but which one did you like more?
Yeah, I liked one more just because of how they captured it the first time. I can
Yeah.
understand going above and beyond, and that was your point about it, on how they just raised the scales and went to a draw. I think that may be the only thing that's hitting for me is that it was a draw rather than a complete finish.
Mine is definitely Okada versus Omega 2, just for the pure storytelling factor of Kenny's whole thing was he wanted to hit the one winged angel,
Mm-hmm.
and Okada would always counter it.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, and I think what made it so great was the fact that it ended in a draw.
Well, folks, there you have it. Our match of the year, superstar of the year, and OMG moment of the year. But now we're going to talk about Wrestle Kingdom 12, a little bit about it since we still have, well, I have what, three three matches left to actually watch.
I think I've kind of seen every match I want to see. I saw the three contenders. I saw the Fatal Four Way. I could have saw the Hirashi match, but I chose not to.
The
I saw the
show,
Young Bucks match.
yeah, the show actually it didn't start picking up steam to me until they got to the Kota Ibushi and Cody match. Because the Young Bucks
Yeah.
match, it was all right, but for a Young Bucks match, it wasn't the
Oh,
quality
for a
that I
Young
was
Bucks
expecting.
match, it was boring. It
Yeah,
was really boring. Like it was a good match, but if you say if this is a Young Bucks match, it's like, dude, you can skip it.
right.
Honestly, like you know they weren't gonna lose. It's like you can also just skip it.
And then up to the Omega point, every title had changed hands, right?
Uh, you,
I don't know about the
no.
Fatal Four Way. That's the only thing I didn't know about. But all the other titles, every title had changed hands.
Um, I think so because I think because the Okada versus Nitro match was after Omega versus Jericho.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think every title changed. I know Osprey beat Marty Scurll in the 4 way
Hmm.
because I just finished that match. That match was great. Um,
Yeah.
Cody versus Ibushi. There wasn't a title on the line for that one.
Nah.
No. Um,
But let's talk about that match for a second.
Cody's a great heel.
Cody
He's
is
an
a
amazing
wonderful
heel.
heel. Yes.
Uh, Obviously, highlight of the match is when he does the crossroads onto the mat.
I thought he killed Coda, especially with Coda having all those neck surgeries and all that type of stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Man, that was so brutal.
that was a highlight, and the highlight when I think it's Coda does he doesn't do a shooting star. I think he does some sort of move off the top rope into Cody and Brandy. Um,
I think he just did a basic springboard dive, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, but he landed on both of them, and then Cody's away in powders, and he goes over to Brandy. He's like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" And I love the announce team during all that because I don't know who it was who kept kissing Cody's ass. He's like, "I'm gonna go over there to see if Brandy's,
Yeah.
all right." So Ibushi picks her up, and then Cody just socks him in the face.
Awesome. That's old school heel for you right there.
Oh yeah, and then you find out, oh no, she was just faking. She
Yeah.
was off.
Um. What else happened in that match besides that?
Um, I don't know because I've never seen an Ibushi match, so like this was my first Koto Ibushi match.
Well, I got put on. I think a lot of us got put on to Ibushi from the Cruiserweight Classic. That's where we saw all his spectacular matches at.
See, I didn't watch half of the cruiser. I didn't watch the Cruiserweight Classic.
Mm,
So when the Cruiserweight started coming to Raw, when they kept coming to Raw, that was my first time ever seeing a lot of them.
right.
You know, which was really weird, especially when you saw people like Rick Swan and uh, Tyler Bates with his Perfect 10. I'm like, okay, this is, and the gentleman Jack Gallagher was like, all right, this is weird. You
Mm-hmm.
could watch them in the Cruiserweight Classic. Nah, I'm good. Y'all are kind of turning me off on Raw. I'm good.
um, the finish came when he hit that. I can't remember what the name of the knee is, but he hit the knee that pretty much knocked Cody senseless. And instead of going for the last ride sit out power bomb, he went for a Phoenix Splash, which that
Which
was like one of his older moves that he used to do.
I don't know. That was mad impressive.
And
That was a mad impressive
yeah, and then the
Phoenix Splash.
stat for me of the night, I did not know that Ibushi and Omega used to be a tag team.
I didn't either.
So that kind of like really surprised me, and I'm like, man, we need to go to our research and history and look at some old New Japan footage.
Hell yeah, I want to see a match of Ibushi and versus Omega. But it probably would have been like young Omega when like he really hadn't done like focused on his style
Yeah.
than it is now. So it probably would have been a very safe kind of match. Probably more high risk than it is currently.
Right.
You know. But yeah, I definitely need to see some more Omega and Gotobushi tag matches.
Yeah. Right. And they called them. What did they call themselves? It was something funny too. It was like the Beautiful Faces or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
You know Omega came up with that name. You know Omega came up with that name.
Oh man! But the match that everybody will either stayed up for or going to watch in the future anyway, Omega and Jericho. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Um. Okay, so I need to preference this by saying I liked the match. Okay, but I think the hype built up more than the actual expectations of the match because Jericho is 47 and the dude through half the match literally looked and felt like yeah he was 47 because walking around a lot you can tell it was very slow and sluggish. Now with that being said, he still did some amazing spots. Like even at that age, putting his body through half the shit he did is amazing. Okay, I ain't gonna doubt that.
Hmm.
But I just really wasn't as into it as a lot of people built it up to be.
Yeah, I can agree with you on the fact that the hype oversold it. It was a very slow paced match. I didn't. I
Yeah,
mean, like you said, Jericho's 47. I didn't expect it to be. I mean, there were actually a little bit of spots where he kind of had that little indie spirit in him, where they would go back and forth. But still, we're talking about an older man wrestling. Omega's what, like in his mid to late 30s, but used to that style still,
yeah.
regardless of whatever how old he is.
No, and here's the thing: Omega, even in his 30s, is still used to doing high spots like the Young Bucks who were like in their 20s. You
Exactly.
know, you know,
Exactly.
Chris is more. Yeah, he's more the veteran, but you can tell that you definitely tell that age is catching up to him.
Mm.
You know, like he's still able to do some amazing spots. Don't get me wrong,
Honestly, it
but
seemed like a little bit of WWE storytelling in it as well, since
yeah.
Chris is like so used to that.
Oh, I definitely know it's WWE storytelling. The announcers would not shut the fuck up on all the shit Chris had done in WWE
Yeah.
with all the people he had beaten, and I'm like, that's cool and all, but I kind of want to see him. I want to see the match. Talk about the match.
Right.
You know, I know Chris has beaten half the people he's beaten in WWE. I watch WWE. It's not why I watch New Japan. And if you're somebody who all you saw was New Japan, you wouldn't have any idea who the fuck half the people they are talking about.
Right. So I really liked this edgier Chris Jericho. I wish they
Oh,
could
I
do
love
it in
it.
WWE. Like right off the bat, he's pushing red shoes around and stuff like that. When they get to the outside after Kenny does that little spot where he dives from the ring to the outside through the table, and then he's like
Highlight.
slapping red shoes, and then he puts his son in the
Yeah,
lion
that
tamer.
was the highlight where he slapped the rev and then put his son in the walls, and he's like, "Look at your son."
Yeah, I love that Chris Jericho. I really wish they
I
would do that
miss
more in
that Chris
WWE.
Jericho.
Exactly.
Like, people forget like one of the best angles we forgot to talk about in that 3 hour ramble, which I can't believe we guys forgot about it, was the Festival of Friendship
Yeah.
with Owens and Jericho. That was great.
Yeah.
you
Brilliant.
know, and that was something that was purely Chris Jericho's, mind frame,
Hmm.
you know, and that led into a good rivalry. So it's now when you take him to New Japan, where he can pretty much creative freedom, as i.e. the 5 chair shots up in the corner that busted Kenny open,
Hmm.
and then even still used like this the framework of the chair just to hit him. Like it's great to see that kind of Jericho.
Right. It was a really good match, man. As far as storytelling and stuff like that, like I said, it could have. they built it, they overhyped it,
Yeah.
so that's
Honestly, it's definitely one of those to where I can see them having a rematch.
yeah.
Um, the highlight of the match was for me was when Kenny, I think it was like halfway through the match, Kenny goes for the one wing angel, and Jericho reverse flips it into the walls,
Hmm.
and then builds it into an old school wall where he starts focusing on one leg instead of just both.
Right.
I'm like, that was good, and he held it out for like 2 minutes.
So, what do you think about the fact that the rules kind of were like all scrambled and thrown all over the place? It was supposed to be a no DQ match, which means no rope breaks and stuff. They did it in the beginning, but as they got closer to the end, they started implementing it. What
Man,
happened?
man, that was that. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that. That got me like, that's another reason why I don't think I was that into the match. It's like, if you're gonna do no rope breaks, then do no rope breaks, you know?
Right.
But I think they also, that you can tell, I think that was kind of crash booking on like the more and more the longer the match goes out, it's like, we can't do that, or else it's just going to be a 5 minute match of him just in a submission lock,
Right.
you know?
There was also a 20 count too.
Yeah. So it's like, why do a 20 count if this is no DQ? Like, I don't know, man. I don't think it was as great as a match as everybody's making it out to be. I think the following match after that and the Fatal Four Way have a tie for match of the night.
Mm.
Okay, but if anything, this just feels like the first match of a long rivalry between these two. It doesn't feel like the inevitable clash like I think Okada versus Omega 1 or 2 was.
Right.
You know, this feels like a starting point to something grander. You know, and my whole thing is like, well, you've already started off with the no DQ. Where are you really going to go from there?
Right.
You know, like, it'd be one thing if this was a normal match and then you built it up into a no DQ. But it's like, you started off with no DQ. You're gonna go back to a normal match.
I'm curious to find what the explanation will be when they finally like do reviews and stuff. I'm curious to hear what Dave Meltzer had to say about it as well.
I am too, because Dave Meltzer loves his boys from Japan. Dave Meltzer loves New Japan.
Yeah.
Like,
Um.
that's my biggest problem with Dave Meltzer is like every time you he sees like a really good match like in like Ring of Honor or WWE, he always has that kind of backhanded compliment of, well, no, it was a really good match, it was a really good match, it was a great match, like 4 to 5 star match, but like I've already seen, 4 other really good matches this week, and it'd be like a Monday. So it's like, Dave, how did you already see 4 of the really good matches when the week just started? But I've already seen like 4 or 5 really great other matches that could be like match of the week. But dude, it's Monday.
Right.
You know, like
Uh,
that's kind of my problem with Meltzer. I like Meltzer, but it's like, it's a good match, man. All right.
um. So who do you think is next in line for a IWGP? Well, I'll give you both. Who do you think's next in line for the IWGP United States, and who do you think's next in line for the IWGP Heavyweight? Because the announcers were trying to build it as far as that Kota Ibushi was going to be next in line for against Okada.
Yeah, because they were building it to where the outcome of the Rhodes versus Ibushi match would basically play a major role into getting some sort of shot at a title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, yeah, they were building it into him versus Okada, which I'd be okay with that. Um, I really don't know. Because, like, unless someone from Bullet Club ends up turning on Omega, I really like, because I think we've already kind of seen everybody possibility who could go up against the United States IWGP title.
Yeah.
You know, like, unless someone likes um, Cody or Martin Shkreli kind of turns, you know, I don't see them doing. It's like unless you pull somebody else, like you try to do Jericho again.
Honestly, honestly, Cody kind of seems like the one that would end up getting turned on because he seems like the oddball of the group. Because if you look at, I mean, you know, you have the Elite with Omega and the Young Bucks, and then like Marty kind of fits very well into that group, but Cody just seems like he's the outsider.
Yeah. But Marty also seems like that kind of guy who he's just sticking around because it best suits his own needs. Like now that he's not, because spoiler alert, I don't know if you've seen the match or not, he loses the title.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you're obviously going to watch, I think, guess the four way with Ospreay, Kushida, and Hiroshi.
Mm-hmm.
He loses the title to Will Ospreay. So now that he doesn't have the title, it could lead into, well, I'm just hanging out with the Bullet Club because it best suits me. Because it would kind of fit the villain character to where if he did turn on Omega.
Yeah, which he doesn't have any belts anymore at all either because he was Defiant champion and he lost that to Austin Aries.
Yeah. Well, here's my question to you. What do you think of uh, the villain character
I
from
think
Marty Scott?
I like Marty. I really do like Marty.
I do too.
It's a unique character.
See, I'm not pro or against it mostly because I don't really understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't understand the whole reason behind the villain character. It was just kind of one of those to where like it just randomly shown up and everybody was losing their shit about.
Mm-hmm.
So that it was kind of like with when with Broken Matt Hardy, like everybody was losing their shit about how great Broken Matt Hardy was. So when I finally saw it, it was like I don't really understand. I mean, it's good because it's Marty Scully and he's a good wrestler, but it's like I don't really understand the whole villain thing. You know,
It
is it
was a
like the
very
reason he's a
slow
villain is because
build.
he's more heelish, but he was already heelish,
Yeah,
so you
it was
know,
yeah it was a very very slow build towards it becoming broad. Like
yeah,
when Matt started the broken character, it was Matt Hardy.
yeah,
So it was kind of like take it. You can either take it as for a positive or you can take it for a negative,
negative, and
because
then
of his
eventually over
star
time
power.
with the broken character, kind of just breaks everybody down, and it's
Yeah,
just like this is really good.
exactly. So
It's not,
with a character like Marty's, it had to be slow built because nobody really knew who he was. Like, I didn't know
no,
who he was. Like the first time I had seen Marty wrestle was for WCPW, and I was like, yeah, just a regular typical guy. But he called himself the villain, so I was like, okay, whatever. Then I started seeing his entrances with the little mask and stuff on, and coming out with the umbrella and stuff, and I was like,
yeah.
this is different. I haven't seen anything like this before.
It's like okay, yeah, that's cool character wise, and then you slowly as you because I have started watching a couple of matches with him of him being a more vicious, fighting, doing kind of what Pete Dunne does with like the fingers and
Hmm.
breaking them, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
and
that's his
being like
go-to.
more kind of all right because like within like the first 2 minutes of the match, as like all four of them are kind of just like trying to size each other up. Marty just kind of bails out and is like, all right, y'all can fight.
Right.
You know, I'm going to chill out here until someone goes for a pin and then breaks them up and then scoops back out.
So
You know,
yeah, he probably would classify as one of those classic heels as well. But
yeah,
the thing is, it's like one of those new age heels at the same time because they rely on crowd participation at the same time because
oh
everybody
yeah,
goes crazy for the finger pops and stuff like that.
oh
But
yeah,
even when he sets up for the crossface chicken wing, he kind of sets it up like Martin Kirby does in WCPW with the crowd participation. So
oh yeah, and how he screams it out,
yeah,
chicken wing. You
so
know,
he's just one of those characters, like I said.
yeah, and it's a good character. You know, I like the whole. I like the whole entrance with kind of the gothic steampunk thing
Hmm.
going on. You know,
And his like his look when he doesn't wear the mask and stuff, with his hair in the little man bun ponytail that he has at the top of his head, and then
it
the
works.
circular glasses, it kind of reminds me of when Joe Pesci played in Michael Jackson Moonwalker when he played the heel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's great. Um, and then finally, I guess what we could talk about is the main event.
Well, I haven't seen the whole main event. I woke up, I saw Naito coming out, I
Uh
fell
huh.
asleep, and I saw Okada holding the belt at the end.
Okay. Um, it's a good match. It's a really good match because I've seen the whole match.
Hmm.
That was the last one I saw. And the last one I saw was the Fatal Four Way. Um, this was actually my first time seeing Nitro.
Hmm.
Like seeing the whole character and whatnot. And I was really confused, and I actually rewatched a video of kind of like the rise and fall
Hmm.
of Naito, and like I like it. I like it a lot. I like his whole kind of like not really caring, you know,
Yeah.
attitude, and like how it was like a dick to the fans, but like the fans kind of rallied behind him because like people kind of understood where he was coming from. And it's like if you know anything about Japan culture, it's Japanese culture, it's like you can totally see why people do, because they kind of saw themselves as kind of like the outcasts,
Right.
you know.
I don't know though, man. Okada is so hot right now. I don't see him losing the belt anytime soon. I don't even know who he would even lose it to. Period.
I think the only way he would honestly lose the belt is if he became injured, which they are, and they're pushing it to injure him.
You telling me? Jeez.
They are. There are so many instances in this match that I'm not going to spoil to where they keep working on that neck.
Hmm.
Like there are multiple times where he takes bumps where I'm like, they're going to call it because he broke his neck. You know?
That's how it is in Japan. Well,
Yeah.
what are your overall thoughts of from what you've seen of the show?
Um,
What would you give it?
this being my first Wrestle Kingdom, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it had some. I think it didn't have any lows. I would say there were no lows. I don't think the Jericho versus Omega match lived up to the hype as many people did, but I think the Okada versus Nitro match was great. The Fatal Four Way for the Super Junior heavyweights belt was match of the night, in my opinion. And even the Cody and Ishibushi match was really good. Even though there really wasn't anything at stake. Um, so yeah, overall, it was a really good. It definitely was not worth staying up till 3 a.m. to fucking watch. Definitely not worth. But I do kind of agree with you that like knowing there are this levels of pay-per-views out, WWE y'all need to step your game up.
They really do.
Like
They really do.
you need to honestly because people are going to be comparing this to the Rumble at the end of the month.
Yeah, exactly. So WWE, if you don't have any shocking surprises or
And if you
turns
look at
or
the Rumble's
twists,
card now, no,
yeah,
no.
you got to do something because New Japan is definitely going to own this month if you don't. And they
Oh,
got another. They was it today? I think it's today. They actually have another event that they're doing. New Year's something. I can't remember what it was. But the fact that they can just bounce back just like that after taking all that punishment and all these matches and then have another marquee match the next night, greatest wrestlers in the world right now.
oh yeah, because like you look at this card, and then let's just run down the Royal Rumble's card that we know so far. We know there's the Women's Royal Rumble, which is 30 people. I don't even know how you're going to do that. There's the obvious Men's Royal Rumble, which is 30, which we still don't know. We'll have no idea who's going to win that. And then you have the two title belt shots, which for Raw, it's Lesnar, Strowman, and Kane. Let's be honest, no one gives a shit about.
Hmm.
And then the match that was just announced on SmackDown for the Universal title, for the SmackDown title, it's Styles versus not versus Zayn and Owens in a handicap match. There's ideas on how that one's going to go down, but I don't see Styles losing that match because I see it be a bigger pain on how to split the belt for both Owens and Zayn than to actually have Styles just retain it. Because I
Maybe
think they
they'll.
want to build towards Nakamura versus Styles.
This is just joking, but maybe they'll split it in two like they did Lay Cool.
Oh God. Oh, why'd you got to bring that up? They were okay. They were with. I felt bad because Michelle McCool was actually a pretty decent wrestler, but that was a just terrible fucking tag team. Oh God.
Yeah.
And my problem with SmackDown right now is that it's too heavily focused on the Shane and Brian and Owens and Zayn storyline. Like, I don't really give a shit about that, and there's really nothing else going on. So why should I even fucking watch SmackDown?
Exactly. And that's how it's been for the last couple of months. That
That's how it's been since Survivor Series.
yeah, um, with actually both both brands. Like, call me
Like
a traditionalist, but
if I get one more week where Raw opens up with Kurt Angle and SmackDown opens up with either Shane or Brian, I'm gonna scream.
right, like call me a traditionalist, but isn't the show supposed to primarily be about your main champion?
Not even your main champion. It's supposed to set up for what the main event that night is going to be.
Right.
Not have the GM come out and pretty much set up what the main event is going to be. You know?
I
Yeah, I'm
think
a
everything is just
traditionalist in
lost
that.
in the shuffle right now, but hopefully, since this is WrestleMania season, they'll kick the pace up like they usually do.
I think they're going to because now they're going to start setting up for feuds for WrestleMania and start bringing back nostalgic acts.
Hmm.
You know, building, especially Raw is going to probably kick it up because their 25th anniversary is coming up.
Yep.
So they're definitely going to be kicking this shit into high gear. SmackDown, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I don't give a shit about the main storyline you have now with the GM and Owens and stuff with and Owens and Zayn. So y'all need to figure out something else to do.
Right. But like you said, it's really not their fault.
No,
Vince is always and forever gonna want Raw to be the superior brand over SmackDown. It will never ever eclipse it. It will never ever come close. Well, actually, it has come close to it before, but it gets shut down. But guys, this wasn't actually that long this time. 43 minutes.
that was it was just kind of here's what we thought about Wrestle Kingdom of what we saw and kind of our overall review.
Yep. So,
I don't know what your plans are for the Rumble, but
um,
I would
I'm
be
supposed to
down
do a
to do
live reaction.
I would be down to doing a review of it because it's going to be because this year I think of any year it's going to be very interesting
Hmm.
to see what happens.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know,
So, guys, we'll probably definitely bring you a post Rumble review on what happens, and I believe, yeah, I am gonna do a live reaction to it. Still trying to work out the kinks on whether or not I'm gonna live stream it, which will probably be much easier than actually recording a video. So it probably will be live streamed this time around.
yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I'm gonna see if I still want to request that day off or because I still got to work on my subscription with the network. So
right. Well, this has been our New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 12 review, our year end awards, and a little bit of what to look forward to in the month of January. Hopefully, this will be a even better year of wrestling in 2018, and we're going to be covering
hopefully,
everything.
I mean it started off strong,
Yeah,
so we'll see. We can only hope, especially with what people are saying are rumors of people coming back and people signing on.
hmm
You know, it's going to be very interesting.
thank you guys always for watching. You know what to do: like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Um, Make sure you check out Soul's channel. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. He's back live streaming. Got some good gameplay over there. Um,
I know. I think either today or tomorrow we're gonna wrap up the Batman Telltale series because I only got like 2 episodes left, and I'm like, I just want to knock this shit out.
awesome.
So,
But other than that, thank you for watching. Like I said, keep God first, and I will see you next time.